So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get more emails by creating pop-ups. I'm sure you already know what pop-ups are, but if you don't, let me show you a couple examples right now. So let's go to World of Watches as the first example. And when the page done loading, it will show us the pop-up to sign up to their email list, and we'll get $10 off whenever we're signing up. That's how they're getting our email. They offer us something. Another great example of a pop-up will be from the Instapage blog, and this pop-up called exit pop-up, because it will fire whenever we are trying to exit the website. So as I'm moving my mouse outside of the window, this pop-up will pop up and they will ask for our email in order to send us promotions and autoresponders. Great, so those are the two examples I wanted to show you, and let's go back to our WordPress dashboard in order to create our own pop-up, and we're gonna do it with Elementor as well by going to templates and then add new. We will choose the pop-up option and we will call it sign up because we would like to collect emails. To speed up the process, we will choose a pre-made design by Elementor. They have beautiful templates over here. Just browse between all of them and choose the one that you like the most. I'm gonna go with this one because it's nice and simple. After you loaded the template, we can see that we have two components. We have the section over here that holds all the content and the columns, and we have the frame behind this section. That's the pop-up. In order to edit the frame, you will need to go to the settings icon here, and this window, as you can see, pop-up settings, will control the pop-up, not the content inside. So here in the layout of the pop-up settings, we can change the width and the height of the pop-up. I'm just going to adjust it to be 485 height, just like so. Looks pretty good. And we also have the option to enable or disable the overlay. The overlay is this black background behind the pop-up frame. Right now it's set to on, which is good. I recommend you to leave it that way. We can also change the animation, etc. And here under the style tab, we can change the background image of the frame. Right now it's this blue wave. We can change it to any other image that we want. Maybe this girl over here, just like so. Looks really good. Of course, we have the option to change the position of the background, but I'm gonna leave it that way. I think it's good enough. And here in the overlay, we can change the background color of the overlay behind it. Just make sure to reduce the opacity so we can see the content behind. I'm just going to leave it black because I think it was better than the purple, just like so. Excellent. And now we can move into the content itself. We can delete the guy on the bicycle. We can change the form and delete the message. Just skip the email. Of course, we can go to the actions after submit section, delete the email and just hook it to get response. And here in the get response tab, I'm just going to change it to our weekly emails list. So anybody will subscribe will get into our list, and I will change the send feedback text to subscribe. Excellent. Of course, you know how to change the colors and the size, and you can add elements and delete elements and do whatever you want with it. I'm pretty satisfied with the end result. I like it the way it is, and we can move forward and publish it. So whenever we click on publish, we have 3 tabs on the left. Unlike the other ones that we only had one, we have condition, triggers, and advanced rules. Let's start with conditions, and we would like to display this pop-up on every page. Click next, and this is the triggers tab. And here you will decide what will trigger the pop-up. If you enable on page load, the pop-up will fire immediately after the page is done loading. If you will enable the on-page exit intent, the pop-up will fire whenever the user will try to exit your website, as I showed you. If you will enable both of them, the first trigger that will fire the pop-up will cancel the second trigger. So for example, right now, because it's set on page load to 0, the pop-up will fire immediately when the page is done loading, and therefore it will not show again whenever the user will try to exit the page. That's good user experience. You don't want to show more than one pop-up a visit. Some other rules that you can use are on scroll. For example, if you set it up to 50%, every time the user will scroll below 50% of the page, the pop-up will fire. You also have on scroll to element and on click. So whenever somebody is clicking on an element, it will fire. Alright, when you're done, click next. And here in the advanced rules tab, we have few more rules that we can set if we would like to control the way our pop-up will behave. And I will go through some of them with you guys so you will know what we are talking about. So the first one is show after X page views. What does it mean? Somebody is landing on your homepage, but you don't want to show it on your homepage. You want him to read your content first, go to the About Us page, and maybe then go to the blog post. And then you can decide that on the third page, he will see the pop-up. So you can turn it on and set how many pages you want him to view before the pop-up will execute. The show after X sessions mean that every time your visitor is coming to your website, that's called a session. You decided that you don't want to nag him on his first visit and you want to give him the time to focus and read your stuff. However, in the second session that he will come back to revisit your website, you want to show him the pop-up. So you turn this one on and you will start showing him the pop-up from his second session. The show up to X times, it's an option that I personally use with my websites, and this option will limit how many times the pop-up will execute to a specific user. I usually set it up to be 2 or 3 times. If the user closed the pop-up more than twice while he visiting our website, he probably not interested to signing up and I don't want to nag him. You have few more options over there. The show on devices option will give you the option to hide the pop-up on certain devices. By default, the pop-up will be displayed on all of them, which is good. Then just click on save and close. Excellent. So now let's just make sure it's working properly. We'll go to our website as a visitor. And I remind you that we trigger the pop-up on page load and exit intent. We can see that immediately after the page is done loading, the pop-up fired immediately, which is good. And whenever we try to exit the website, the pop-up didn't fire because it's already fired, which is also good. We don't want to fire it twice. However, if we change the page load trigger instead of 0 seconds to 60 seconds, it will fire after 1 minute and not immediately. The exit intent will fire before the page load if we try to exit the page before the first 60 seconds. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We will go to our goodbodygym.com once again. The pop-up will not fire immediately. It's supposed to fire after 60 seconds. However, if we try to exit the page before 60 seconds, it will load before the 60 seconds, as you can see over here, and it will not load again after 60 seconds. Great job, guys. Soon enough, you will see that your email list will be filling up with enthusiastic customers that would like to hear more about you, your service, or your products.